Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Epic Vision Zone. My name is Jane Applegath, a former award-winning stockbroker, television producer, yoga instructor, and now founder of the Epic Vision Zone. Each show, we offer you an inspiring person or message to bring you closer to your big dream by showing you how to enter the portal to possibilities, prosperity, and potential so that you can live your epic life now. Thank you for being here today. International best-selling author Diana Hardy wrote, "It only takes one voice at the right pitch to start an avalanche." Social media expert Kris Bryant is a public speaker, content creator, and visibility magnifier. Her passion is empowering entrepreneurs to become more visible so that they can cash in on their message while bringing their highest contribution to the world. Living proof that her strategies work, Kris has amassed an engaged audience of over 150,000 on social media. Her extraordinary online success is the reason Kris attracts audiences and clients who want to learn how they too can thrive online and on podcasts. Skilled at content creation, Kris works closely with her clients to help them create valuable ideas for their followers and podcast viewers. Her effective but simple strategies are all about showing clients how to make money online and how to level up their impact with podcast bookings, which includes helping you get booked on 5 to 15 podcasts a month. Kris's natural ability to teach clients what to say, where to post it, and how to get seen is the reason she is known as a visibility magnifier. And I can't wait to share her knowledge with you today. Welcome, Kris. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited. Thank you, Jane.
You're very welcome. I am as well, and I have seen this young lady grow by leaps and bounds, and I telling you, she has got it going. So let's get started because we all need to know what she's doing, and she's doing it right. So tell us what inspired you, Kris, to do the work that you do today.
Oh, that's a wonderful question. I really got inspired because I wanted to start an online business, but I knew that I had to meet people where they are, which is online, and I didn't really know much about social media at the time. This was over 3, 4 years ago, probably even longer than that. And what I did was I had to learn social media, and I learned that I was really good at it. And I amassed a large following online, and people started asking me, okay, you have to teach us what you're doing on Instagram and TikTok to gain such visibility and get in front of so many more people. And that's how Crush It with Kris started, just learning social media, self-taught. And yeah, that brings me to where I am today, just learning the ins and outs of how to promote your business online and on social media.
I love it because you've seen it grow exponentially and because of what you have learned and then applied it. So give us some insight. How do we use social media marketing to grow a business and brand?
I love that question. You use it by one of my favorite ways, to be honest, is using video content, especially if you have a personal brand, if you are the face of your company, if you're some sort of coach or consultant or service-based business. Using video content has been so instrumental in the amount of growth that not only myself, but my clients have experienced just by telling their unique stories, talking about the benefits of the service or the products that they offer, showing before and afters, and having real conversations with your audience, whether it be on live video or just Instagram Reels or TikTok videos. It really helps with shifting the needle and making it so that your audience can really know, like, and trust you and just get into your world a little bit and see what you're all about. So video content has really changed the game for me, and I always encourage people to start utilizing it more to get their message out there.
Wonderful. So video content, and we'll delve into some of the how to overcome some of that. And also, I love that you said so that you get seen, known, and trusted by the people who are watching. So now let's say, and this could be a very rare or not situation, but you have an entrepreneur who doesn't do or particularly like social media. What are some other ways to market your business outside of social media?
Ooh, okay. Well, I always encourage people to at least try social media because I look at it as you're, in a sense, leaving money on the table. But if you are completely against it, there are other ways to market your business. I have really gotten massive results by doing email marketing, pitching my services, whether it be to reach out to a brand and pitch and say, I can create some video content for you, or if you have some type of service that you offer, pitching to your ideal customer and letting them know about the benefit of your service and really customizing it so that you can stand out because people get a lot of emails, right? But if you can craft your email in a way where it's customized, it really stands out from the competition, you will get a percentage of those people that will actually respond and book calls or buy from you. So that's one way. Another way that I love, which is leveraging other people's audiences, which is so amazing if you have a smaller social media following or no social media following, which is getting on other people's podcasts who have similar audiences, who have people that you can get in front of and that will actually be interested in the products and services that you have or your own unique story. In the month of March alone, I went on about 10 different podcasts, and the amount of just so much value that I've gotten from it and being able to tap into other people's audiences and use that to drive traffic to your offers, to make people aware of your company and building that brand awareness I love it.
Wow, that is fabulous. So, as a content creator, you can help with the creation of the emails. And
Hmm.
also, as a podcast visibility coach, you help get people booked. And we'll delve into a little more detail of that because there is more to helping get on some of these big platforms. So, those are fabulous ways. And here's a question that I know you get all the time: how do people stay consistent with marketing content without burning out? So you've just given us a great amount of information. So you've got the social media posting, the videos, you've got the emails, and then we've got the podcast. So right there, there's a whole bunch of overwhelm if people aren't even
Oh,
on, doing all of this stuff. So I know that's a top question. What do you suggest?
well, when it comes to avoiding burnout, when it comes to social media, I always advise to use social media in doses or to limit the amount of time that you're spending on it. I am very intentional when I go on social media. I am usually just on there to check my messages or to reply back to people. But what helps with really reducing the burnout or eliminating it is to basically, um, create your content on a schedule. So picking 1 or 2 days out of the week where you can create your content and then using certain tools like Planoly, there's Hootsuite, there's a lot of different tools out there where you can actually schedule your content, and that eliminates having to constantly feel like you're always on social media. And when you batch create the content like I do and I tell my clients to do, it saves you so much time and energy so that you can focus on other things and so that you don't feel like you have to be all over the place. But batch creating and scheduling your content can really, really help with eliminating or reducing that burnout.
Yes, absolutely. And I love that Kris walks you through that because she has helped me as well. And you almost have, you put it in your schedule. I mean, because then it's
Yes.
done. It's
Hmm.
one, half of your morning or whatever it is, but you do it, you write what you're interested in. Like she says, batch creating. So you might do a number of small reels, or maybe you create a bunch of emails and then you put on your calendar when you want them to go out. So yeah, it
Yes.
really helps. It's almost like I like to equate it to what we do now. My husband and I have been together, a little side story, for a number of years, but every time dinner time came around, and I know everybody can relate to this, it was like, what are we having for dinner? I don't know. What do we have in the fridge? And it would stress me out. I mean, I'd be like,
Hmm.
I don't know, maybe we got to go pick something up. Then you've got to go pick it up. But now what we do is we, if you want to say it, batch create our meals. So we cook, a whole bunch of chicken all at once, season it, freeze it, put it in the fridge. So we've got some, if worst comes to worst, we've always got freshly cooked chicken, which we just need to take out of the fridge. We've got, certain meals that we have that we eat all the time. So we've got those prepared. Yes, it takes time and it takes effort, but I'll
Yeah.
tell you, it takes so much stress off your plate. And that's the same what the process that you're talking about, right?
Yes.
Just
Yes, I
planning.
I love what you're saying. That is so true. And as entrepreneurs, you need to do stuff like that, meal prep. And some people do it on a Sunday where they'll make their meals for the week and then they have it ready because it does take time. Even not even just prepping the food and then there's cooking it and then there's cleaning up afterwards and then just thinking about what am I going to eat today is a lot. So I love that you and your husband do that. I think that's incredible.
Thank you. Thank you. And that'll do the same for those who feel overwhelmed when it comes to this part of their business, because I know that they want to concentrate on what their gifts are. So thank you for that. Choosing where to market. Another question that I know a lot of your clients ask is, do I need to be on all social media platforms?
No, you do not. You really need to have a think on, okay, where are my ideal customers? Where do they hang out? On which social media platforms? Because they might not be on all social media platforms. And if you're just starting, it will be too chaotic to try to master every single social media platform at once. When I started with Instagram for the most part. And then I learned the ins and outs in it. I got really good at it. And then eventually, like over time, I ventured into some other platforms. But just start with one. Think about where your audience hangs out. And then also think about what makes sense for you and what you like doing, because each platform is different and they're known for different things. With YouTube, it's a lot of longer form videos, which take more time to create and to edit. And then there's TikTok and Instagram where you can do the shorter form 30-second videos, the reels or the TikToks, which take a lot less time to do. And it's a lot less for the audience to consume as well. So really just thinking about, all right, what are my strengths? I know for me, I don't enjoy writing like, for example, a blog would not be a good fit for me. I don't really enjoy, that's not my jam, like writing paragraphs and paragraphs of my information. I like to convey my message across in video content. So I focus more on the shorter videos on TikTok and IG mostly, but it really just depends on each person and what their strengths are and where their audience hangs out.
Yes, absolutely. And I know that the shorter these days, the better. So in fact, you're in the right lane. But
Yeah.
a suggestion, if you are an individual who prefers the blog, you could always just take a couple of sentences out of your blog and make that your post.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about not reinventing the wheel, because you can
Oh, I
use
love
what
that.
you've already created and you can repurpose it in a different way. And if you're not
Mm-hmm.
one to be comfortable on camera, you could just put it as a written post, like on Instagram, or on
Yep.
LinkedIn, for example. So, yeah, thank you. That was great advice. Tools for content creation. What are the best tools that you could suggest for content creation?
There are so many out there. My favorite for sure, Canva is amazing for creating just about anything that you can think of for social media and making it look beautiful. Canva also has its own built-in scheduler if you upgrade to the pro account, which is maybe like $13 or $14 a month. Extremely economical. But there's Canva. I like Chat GPT. I've been using that a lot lately because it takes out a lot of the guesswork and the overwhelm when it comes to writing like longer form captions or even writing emails or blogs or LinkedIn posts. That has been great. I love CapCut for editing. CapCut and Filmora are the two that I use for editing my videos. So those are some other tools that I like. I use Answer the Public as well for getting burning questions that people are asking in my niche so that I can get some inspiration and some content ideas. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I would say those are the top five that I've been using a lot for social media creation.
Those are fabulous. Could you do me a favor and just repeat them so that if individuals are listening, they could just make a note of them? Just list them off. That would be great.
Sure. So number one was Canva. Number two was Chat GPT. Number three, Filmora, Filmora. Filmora Wondershare is a editing tool for editing videos. There's CapCut, which is another editing tool, and you can use the free version of that. And then the last one was answerthepublic.com for doing keyword research and finding also the burning questions that people are asking on Google, and you can answer those questions in your content.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. And I wanted to say that all of those services are either very inexpensive or free, because
Agreed.
that's something that I have checked into a lot of what Kris has recommended, and I love the fact that there is so much free resources out there that you can use to help promote your business and just speed up the whole process. So thank you for all
Yes.
those. Yeah, and I hope that people have taken note, because do check them out. I have, and I go down a dark hole. I just start playing with them all day. So be
I do
careful of
too.
that. Oh, wow. Well, getting total visibility. So obviously, you know your stuff, Kris, and I love the fact that you have all these incredible tools that people can also use for themselves. So give us insight into the growth of your business and how that makes you unique.
I would say what makes me unique is although people know me as the quote unquote social media person, I don't rely on one strategy to get my message out there and to get clients. I use social media as a tool to build that trust, to build up an audience, to nurture leads because people, when they see content, they usually need to see it anywhere from sometimes 50 to 70 times before they actually make a purchase. So I use my content as a way to just warm people up so that eventually we can work together and I can get them as a client. But I'm also very proactive. So I do email outreach for clients. I also do media. So getting on the media, whether it be getting on guest blogs, guest blogging to talk about what I can help people with and give tips, going on podcasts, and I get those opportunities for myself and for my clients so that as we talked about earlier, just getting massive visibility, leveraging other people's audiences is super, super game changing because it can really help get in front of so many more people. And then you're already getting a warm introduction from the host. So it just makes for a great combination. But to answer your question, getting the total visibility and what makes me unique is I never rely on one thing because we don't own social media. I've had terrible things happen to me in the past where I'm like, oh my goodness. And I've had to learn that I can't rely on a TikTok or an Instagram account to be my main way of generating business because if either of them were to go away, it wouldn't be good. So I like to not have all of my eggs in one basket, but to have a few different ways to really get my message out there and to cash in on it.
So smart. It's it sounds like common business sense, but I know
Mhm.
today, because there are so many avenues and so many you know opportunities to promote your businesses, that we often, it's the comfort zone. We get stuck in the one that we like to use, which I'm
Mhm.
guilty of. But you're absolutely right. And another thing that's very that we all need to understand as well is that we do not own those email lists. So one of the things
Mhm.
that we all want to do is, once we are getting that traction and you find that your niche is in LinkedIn or Instagram or Twitter, wherever it might be, then to be sure to have a program so that you can gather some people's email lists, so that
Mhm.
you can, you provide something for free, or like in yours, a lot of times you prompt people, correct,
Mhm.
to click on
I
something.
do.
Maybe you could tell
I
us a
do.
little bit about that.
I would love to talk a little bit more of that. So Building an email list from day one is so important. Even if you don't have anything to sell, you can give away something for free, a free guide, a free checklist, a free 20-minute consultation, what have you, in order to capture someone's email address so that you can have that. And what I do with my content is I hook them in the first 1 to 3 seconds of my video. And then usually at the end of my videos, there's a call to action. And I tell people what it is that I want them to do at the end of my videos, because we can never assume what people want to do. If we don't tell them, they won't know, and they might not do anything in most cases if we don't guide them and say, all right, here's the call to action. Go click the link in my bio and book a call, or click the link in my bio and download my free checklist. So you can use your videos, and then also Instagram stories are really game changing too, for using them as little landing pages to talk about your offers, because when people are viewing your Instagram stories, those are actually warm leads. Those are people who are already following you, and you can see sometimes that the same people are watching your stories, and they have to manually go and click to take a look at your story and watch it. So you can use that as a way to sell, like sell daily in your Instagram stories, and you can add clickable links to drive people directly to where you want them to go, whether you want to bring them to a checkout page or to a booking page or to download something. Instagram stories are a great way to sell your products and to also let people into your world and just tell your stories and let them know what's going on behind the scenes. It's great for that.
Yes, thank you for that information. And if that sounds overwhelming to anyone, just give Kris a call. She's
Tell me.
great because I know she rambles this off and it sounds so easy and so simple. She lives in this world, but I know that older people like myself were going, okay, what's she talking about? I mean, I get it now, but I still know that there are many people out there that, are, and let's face it, what we don't know, we're afraid of. So, just to say,
Yeah.
go to Instagram and put a story, they're going, what the heck is an Instagram story? We have to remember that not all of us are adept at, the tools that we have at our fingertips, but that's okay. Kris is really great.
Yeah.
There's no stupid question you can ask Kris, believe me. So
No,
don't
no,
be
they're not
afraid.
stupid questions.
Well,
Yeah.
some people get a little bit, they fear that they might look, they don't appreciate, the fact that they don't know something. So let's put that aside and say anything goes. So give Kris a call. Anyway, tell us about this podcast process. Now, what coaching strategy, podcasts are another avenue, which I love.
Mhm.
Obviously, here I am doing the show, and Kris is delving into the podcast as well, because like she said, it not only builds visibility but trust. And this is
Mhm.
another avenue to connect with the people who are like-minded people. So getting on those platforms, what coaching, strategic support, and or services do you provide for someone looking to be on podcasts?
Yes, so it's an actual agency and it's a service that I provide. And there really isn't much that my clients have to do besides give me some of the information and really just show up and do what they do best, which is talk about how amazing they are and their services are, provide value, talk about their stories or how they've been able to overcome certain challenges, which I work with my clients on that, which is basically uncovering what their unique story is so that we can go and tell that story, and so we can ensure that we get more podcasters to actually say yes and to agree to have my client on the shows. But I use my network and also pitch on behalf of my clients to get them on. So I match my clients who are speakers with podcasters who are in a similar niche, and I work out all of the semantics. Okay, this is what my client is known for. Here's their information. Here's what they can teach your audience, because it's important to go on these podcasts and provide real value. It's not all about just going on and talking about your service and selling to people, but telling what you've been able to overcome and how you help people, and giving nuggets of information where it can be actionable steps that the listeners can then take and apply for themselves. And being honest. I mean, I went on podcasts and I was brutally honest about the ups and downs of being an entrepreneur. And that's what people really want to hear. It's about just being open and talking about what your world is really like, and people love it. But yeah, it is a great way to not only build that know, like, and trust factor, but it's a great way to get inbound opportunities, because there's something about when you go on a podcast, or if you do a speaking engagement and then you start promoting it or posting it on your social media, other people start to see that, and then you start getting even more invites to do more podcasts or more speaking engagements. So it kind of snowballs in that way, and then people are listening. So it's a great way to build your email list, to get leads, to get traffic to your website, and it's amazing social proof.
Yes, absolutely. That was fabulous. Thank you for sharing that. And you shared a couple of tips here when you said successful social media strategies. Like you were saying, I heard you say, be authentic, tell your
Mhm.
story. But behind the scenes, such as myself, I've been a television producer. Give us some tips as to the preparedness. In other words, you know, is it all right to ask what some of the questions might be? Do you want to learn how to speak up, how to be engaged? Some of those little tidbits that we might not be aware of, but as you said, practice is the key, because you told me yourself when you first went on the podcast, you felt stilted and a little bit stiff, but then as you got into it, you get much
Yes.
more relaxed and much more. So give us a little bit of insight into that, and help people see that, we're only human, and we just need to be a little, if we're a little bit more prepared, we can put ourselves at ease.
Yes, there's a couple of tips actually that I have. For one, doing your research is so, so important. And when I say that, I mean actually listening to the podcast, listening to a few episodes before you go on, listening to the flow of the conversation and certain questions, because some of the podcasters might have one or two specific questions that they might ask every person that they interview, maybe at the beginning and at the end of the interviews. So listening for stuff like that, listening to what kind of topics they want to discuss on their podcast, because if it's a topic that they're not interested in, or if it's not something they normally talk about, they might just say no. Like, for example, one podcaster hates social media, and she said, I think what you're doing is awesome and I love the way that you've connected with me. However, I am always talking about how I hate social media and I want to set you up for success. So are there some ways that we can talk about how to prevent burnout, how to use social media if you are multi-passionate, and just having those conversations, but also taking the time when you are actually on the podcast to just take your time with your words and when you're speaking. Because the very first podcast that I went on ever, I kept saying and when I went back and listened to the episode, it drove me nuts, and I wanted to bang my head against the table, and I was like, no. So just pausing, taking your time and thinking before you just shoot the words out of your mouth. So that is another tip. And telling your, like, being open. On one episode that I went on, I talked about the time where I was locked out of my social media account for 4 months, and that was one of my main ways of making money, and it was devastating for me at that time. But I came out on top because I learned never again rely on one source to bring in money. And from that, I learned what to improve. And then I went from one income stream to like 5 different income streams, because I had to learn a huge lesson, because my income source was essentially cut off because I couldn't post on my main social media account for like 4 months, and it was awful. But like I talked about, okay, this was awful. This is what I went through, but here's how I overcame it. And stories like that are what really help you stand out and make you really more memorable, because it's not your service or whatever you're offering that really makes you memorable. It's the story that you're telling that is what will make people remember you. So telling stories to be more memorable and showing personality. So those are some of the tips that I have for going on podcasts.
Thank you. I love that. Oh, that's so, you're right. I mean, just, and our next question is coming up. So this is perfect for timing, but I do love that you said go on the podcast and listen to one or two of the podcasts to get a feel for the questions that they ask. Because you're right. I mean, we all go and we all ask a couple of questions that are all the same, but also you can get an idea of the way they're asking and the direction they want to lead their clients. So that is perfect. And of course, obviously stories, we all connect with stories. So thank you for that. Now, coming up with that, overcoming visibility anxiety. All right. How
Mm.
do we work with how do you work with clients who have a lot of anxiety around social media and or podcast interviews?
Baby steps and limiting the amount of time that either you spend on social media or making the content. And you can limit that time. We talked about this a little bit earlier by batch recording and
Mm-hmm.
setting schedules, using tools to schedule your content so that you don't feel like you're just immersed in all of this social media stuff that you have to do and figure out. And you can start with 1 to 3 videos a week, whatever you feel comfortable with. Start with shorter form videos. Let's make sure that you're talking about topics that you really enjoy, that you're passionate about, that you can talk about for hours and hours. Don't try to be something that you're not or try to be someone else, because that will make you feel like the content that you're putting out there is forced or like you're not being yourself. But if you're just talking about stuff that you know, like the back of your hand, automatically you're going to show up and feel more confident. And then if you show up with that confidence and then you're batch recording your content, you're spending less time on social media, and then you schedule out your content, and then you have more time to focus on other areas in your business or just other stuff in your life that you enjoy doing.
Right. Yes. It's once again just practicing, and just
Practice
doing
makes
it over and
perfect.
over again. Because it's like when we learn to walk. I mean, we fall down who knows how many times, but we get back up
Hmm.
and we try it again and we try it again, because this is the future. I mean, this is
It
this is
is.
where this is why we have a very robust entrepreneurial community now, much more than we did even
Hmm.
say 5 years ago, because we have this
Yes.
advent of social media, which means that we can market our information, our services, our products without the
Hmm.
huge costs that it would take in the old days, where you'd have to hire an agency and then you'd have to hire a media person. Oh my gosh, it went on and on and on. And it's like, wow, that's not going to happen. But now we become our own. So yes, I love that. Thank you so much for that information. Baby steps. It really is
Baby
baby
steps.
steps. Right.
Yeah,
And
practice
yeah,
definitely takes perfect. It definitely does. I
exactly.
remember when I first started making content, I started at zero and no one was watching and my videos were terrible. My lighting was terrible, but hundreds and hundreds of videos later, I can show up with more confidence. So it does take those baby steps and consistency.
Yes, absolutely. And don't get discouraged, because I
Oh,
have a
no.
niece who's doing some social media for her mom's business, and at first she was posting things, and she would, the days that she wouldn't get a lot of views, she would get very disappointed. And I mean, she's very adept at social media, but she would be like kind of depressed, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's got to get over that. I said, you
You
can't be
do.
at the expectation is that it's going to be what it is, but you just keep doing it and doing it and doing it, and eventually, like you said, that hits. So yeah, just keep going. That's all we can say, right? Just keep going.
Yes.
So what is the most important lesson that you have learned, Kris, on your entrepreneurial journey so far? Because I know there's many more journeys that you're going to be on.
I would say there's two. The first one is to not be afraid to be a leader. And that was a big thing for me when I first started, and something that I battled a lot throughout my life, where I was just afraid to be a leader. I was afraid to be the person in charge and have people look to me for making the decisions and always being afraid to mess things up. And that was something that I had to really overcome to be a more successful entrepreneur. And the second lesson is to charge what you are worth, because you will end up working so much harder for so little money if you are always nickel and diming with people and just willing to take whatever amount of money people are throwing at you. So know what you're worth. Do research if you're unsure of what to charge. Do market research. See what other people that are similar to you are charging. Don't be afraid to ask your audience what they would be willing to pay for your services if you're still unsure, but figure out where you want to go as far as the numbers each month, and then how you're going to get there. Okay, how many clients do I need to get to hit 5K a month, 10K a month, 20K a month, but making sure the numbers actually add up, because I know for me, it wouldn't have made sense if I was charging such a little bit of money. And I started out that way, and I had to quickly learn, like, I'm going to have to work around the clock. I'm going to get burnt out this way. Charge what you are worth.
Right. Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's interesting because I've been in sales a lot, and one of the key takeaways that I have had is that you're not selling, you're enrolling people in their future. So how much
Mm,
is that worth to them? When
I
you change the
love that.
perspective, right, it changes the dialogue. It changes
Yes.
it changes the money conversation. And that's what we're
Yes.
doing. You know, you're helping entrepreneurs get visibility, which then in turn helps them get clients, prospects, which then turn into clients, which then turn into referrals, and on and on. And you know, if you hadn't taken that step and you hadn't made them realize that this is your future, when they grow, we all grow. So yeah,
Yes.
it's really you're absolutely right, and especially with women, we tend to undercharge. I think it's
Yeah,
our
no
nature
more.
and nurture personality. You
Yeah,
know,
oh, I want to
we
help this person, and
yeah
no, we
yeah
have to
yeah.
we have to think about what's best for us and how we can get to, like, if you have a great service, then be confident in that service and be confident in the rate that you feel like you should be getting, for sure.
Exactly right. Yeah, and that again is practice, right?
Yes.
Because the minute you get the one person that says yes, then you're like,
Everything
okay, I've
changes. Yes.
exactly everything
Yes.
changes. Chris, if there was one critical message you could share with the world, what would it be?
My message would be to start building your personal brand today. Don't wait another day to do it, because it is the best opportunity to get paid to be yourself, to really have an impact. And you can do that by simply using your cell phone and start recording videos and getting it out there on social media. And these don't have to be overly produced videos. These can be shot on your cell phone in 30 seconds to 2 minutes, and talking about what's going on behind the scenes and giving people really valuable information, tips, and how that they can improve their lives. If you go into it with just, how can I serve people and help them make a difference in their lives, you will go so far. But just remain consistent, be really, really patient, because social media or building a brand, it takes time. And if you are just showing up, even when no one is showing up at first, you will be so blown away at how far you can go a year from now or 2 years from now. And I can say for myself that really getting serious about creating content and building a personal brand has been so game changing for me. And I'm always encouraging other people to do the same for themselves, because there's no greater feeling than just being yourself and turning it into a business and making a difference.
Mm, that is so rich. You're absolutely right. Because I have seen this magnificent young lady grow by leaps and bounds. And I am telling you, she knows her stuff. And yeah, it's really exciting. And the key is consistency and not giving up, right? Just
Yes, don't give up.
Don't give up. And if you're having issues, pick up the phone and talk to somebody who can help, right? Talk to
Yes.
Kris.
Yeah,
Or you,
coaching is so important. It is. I just want to say one other thing. Like
sure.
coaching is great for the mindset, but just if you are stuck and you want to get somewhere faster, I'm a huge believer in investing in yourself. I've invested thousands of dollars in working with some of the best coaches to learn and understand what I do now, because it is, being an entrepreneur can feel like a lonely journey, but if you are surrounding yourself around positive, like-minded people, it'll motivate you to keep going.
Yes. Love it. Thank you.
Thank
So,
you.
because we're here on the Epic Vision Zone, I have one last question. If your life were an epic story, what would the title be?
I love that question. My title would be Crushing Fear and Limiting Beliefs. That would be my title. That's like the story of my life.
I love that. Crushing fear and limiting beliefs. Yes, absolutely. Because we're here with Crush It with Kris. Well, actually, in fact, where can people get in touch with you?
You can get in touch with me on Instagram or social media. All of my social media handles are at Crush It with Kris, but Instagram is probably the best place to get in touch with me. Or you can send me an email at hello@crushitwithkris.com, and it's spelled Kris. But yes, those are the best ways to get in contact with me.
Yes, and we'll have all of that information as well on the Epic Vision Zone bio pages. And I wanted to thank you once again, Kris, for joining us here today and sharing this incredible information with us. I'm sure we could chat on for another hour because within each one of those questions, there's an entire world of discovery, right? There's the
Yes.
Instagram, the podcast, but Kris is your go-to for visibility because she has got it all under one roof. So no matter what your desire is, no matter what your clientele is, this is a person that can lead you to the right direction, whether it's podcasting, Instagram, blogs, etc., because she is also a content creator. So be sure to check out Kris. And I want you to invite you also to check out my Instagram at Jane Applegath. And don't forget to connect with me at janeapplegath.com, where you can access your free download, The Keys to Your Dreams Success. I'm sending you so much love and success. And this is the Epic Vision Zone, transforming your dreams into epic success.